In this lesson, we are going to be learning about ancient Egyptian pharaohs. And remember, the pharaoh was like the king. What was a pharaoh? A pharaoh was a most important and powerful person in Egypt. The pharaoh was the political and religious leader of the Egyptian people. The people of Egypt considered the pharaoh to be a half man, half god. So now we're going to learn about some different ancient pharaohs. So the first pharaoh we're going to learn about today is Narmer, also known as Menes. He was male, which is a boy, and he was married to Neithotep. And I apologize for my pronunciation, guys. Did you know that the pharaoh Narmer reigned as pharaoh for 62 years, and it is believed that he was killed by a hippopotamus? Narmer, the first Egyptian pharaoh. The first pharaoh of Egypt was Narmer, who united Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. Egypt was once divided into two kingdoms. The kingdom in Lower Egypt was called the Red Crown, and the one in Upper Egypt was known as a White Crown. Narmer, the pharaoh of the north, conquered the south, and Egypt became united. It was all one again. He founded the first capital of Egypt where the two lands met. It was called Memphis. The story of ancient Egypt begins from when the north and the south were united as one country. Narmer is remembered because he was not the first to attempt unifying Egypt, but he was the first to accomplish it, bringing together what had previously been two separate tribes. So he made the first united Egypt. Another ancient pharaoh was King Djoser. He was also male, which means a boy. Did you know that King Djoser was the first Egyptian pharaoh viewed not just as a ruler, but also as a god? King Djoser, the great builder. Djoser increased the wealth of Egypt by exploring the Sinai Peninsula area, looking for turquoise, copper, and other precious metals. He built many temples and shrines, including a great temple at Heliopolis. King Djoser is remembered because he was responsible for the world's first known monumental stone building, the Step Pyramid at Saqqara. The main purpose of the Step Pyramid was to protect Djoser for eternity, that means forever, by protecting his mummy and treasures. Ancient pharaohs. Thutmose III was also a male, and he is buried in the Valley of Kings. The discovery of Thutmose's mummy showed his conquering pharaoh was barely 5 feet tall, so this pharaoh was very small. He was a skilled warrior and a brilliant general who never lost a battle. He brought the Egyptian empire to the pinnacle of its power, to the top of its power, by conquering all of Syria and traveling south along the Nile River to Sudan. He built a great number of temples and monuments to commemorate and celebrate his deeds. Thutmose is remembered because of his military, like his army achievements, because they brought fabulous wealth and power to Egypt. Finally, some of you might have seen this picture before or heard of Tutankhamun. So another ancient pharaoh was Tutankhamun. He was male, and he is also buried in the Valley of Kings. Did you know that we think that his mummy has put his age at death at about 18? So Tutankhamun died when he was only 18. Tutankhamun is known as the Boy King. His father, when he was pharaoh, left Egypt in a terrible state. He repaired the damage inflicted upon the temples during his father's reign. Tutankhamun is remembered because his tomb had fabulous treasures, was discovered in 1922, nearly 100 years ago, by British archaeologists Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon. He became pharaoh at the young age of 9, and he reigned at a time when the Egyptian empire was at its height. So Tutankhamun was the boy king. He became pharaoh when he was only 9 years old, and he died when he was 18. Another ancient pharaoh is Ramses II, who is also known as Ramses the Great. He was male as well, and he is buried in the Valley of Kings. Did you know Ramses II was believed to have over 150 children? During his reign as pharaoh, Ramses II led the Egyptian army against several enemies, including Hittites, Syrians, Libyans, and Nubians. He expanded the Egyptian empire and secured its borders. Ramses the Great was also known as a great builder. He rebuilt many of the existing temples in Egypt and built many new structures. Ramses is known because he lived to be over 90 years old. At the Temple of Abu Simbel, he built 4 statues of himself, which were 69 feet high. That is very tall. And that's all of the information about pharaohs today. Now you're going to do the task of making a pharaoh headdress. Enjoy!